then I'm going to go over there, and then you're going to go over there, and we're going to see what happens. Here we go.
All right, so we switched the camera, right, Ian? Okay, so we are going to play with Aqua-Resin. Aqua-Resin is a two-component part. It comes in a liquid, and a powder. Powder is gypsum-based, it's heavy, so also you could just do this a lot and build your muscles.
We need a script.
Now, the reason why Aqua-Resin is so great is because if you've used polyester resin before, and especially if you've used it in your apartment and you're still alive, your neighbors probably still hate you to this day. And your apartment probably still smells like
yuck.
Nasty, yes. So Aqua-Resin is a really great alternative to polyester resin if you are working in a small space.
Exactly. So what's the mixing ratio on this stuff?
Okay, 1 part liquid to 3 parts powder.
You got this, right?
And it mixes by weight. So you absolutely need to make sure you have a scale. Now, the other thing you need to make sure you do, and that Nelson is going to do, is to use the same size cups. Because if you use 2 different cups and one cup weighs more than the other, your mix ratio is going to be off.
Yeah, or you can just re-tear the whole thing. But that's like trouble, so we're not going to do that. Okay, so anyway, I dumped 37 whatevers in there, probably grams.
Ounces.
No, I'm not going to put 30.
It's probably 3.7, I bet.
Well, okay. See,
Okay.
It says 37 on there. So
Okay.
what that means is if it's 2 to 1, I got to come up with approximately 74 of this stuff. And I promise you, this is way more than 74. So I'm going to re-tear the thing.
Wait, oh, you mix it straight?
Well, what do you want me to do?
Oh, I always put 2 and then mix it in a 3rd container. Nelson lives life on the edge.
I've always, just, you know what, this is what you always do. You always make sure that it's not a big deal. So we're just going to go ahead and put 74 of this stuff in here. And we're uncertain exactly 74 watts, but it doesn't matter because it's a ratio. Whoops, there's 81. That's called too much. So we fix that with a stick. And we put some back. Where are we at now? 73. Close. All right, may I have a cup?
No.
Please?
Wait,
Oh, yeah.
there's 2 cups.
Oh, she's generous. Yes. So, powder to liquid or liquid to powder? What do you think?
I don't think it matters. But aren't you supposed to normally do powder
Wet.
to liquid?
Wet to powder? Benji says wet to powder.
We'll
So,
believe it.
kaboom, right?
We'll do live chat.
I don't
I
know.
don't know if we enabled live chat.
Oh,
If
we
you're
didn't.
trying to chat with us, sorry.
Yeah. Don't be chatty. Okay, so I'm mixing it. Smell anything?
Yeah, make
No
Benji smell
smell.
it. Put it closer. Shove it up his nose.
No, that's gross.
Smells a little bit like Elmer's.
He's right. It smells a little bit like almond.
Okay, now let me
Here,
smell.
have a hit, man.
You know what it really does.
Okay, so, just to play it safe, I'm going to pour it in another cup.
All right, while Nelson's pouring, the first thing that we're going to use Aqua-Resin for is something called pepakura. And if you're a customer, you've probably heard of pepakura, which I like to call the art of gluing your fingers together.
She does.
Pepakura is when you make complicated paper things by folding and gluing, like helmets and all sorts of stuff. I do not have the patience to do pepakura. So I have made a paper airplane. There are lots of really great tutorials online if you just search YouTube for pepakura.
Or
And
paper
a lot
airplane.
of them use Aqua-Resin for them, especially if you are a halo person. Now this is pretty thin. If it's too thin for you, there's a little bit of leeway, and you can mix just a little bit of powder extra with it. You always want to start with your ratio and go from there, just to prevent any bad things. The other thing that you can use if it's not quite thick enough is Aqua-Resin's thickener called
THX6.
Thix. It's clever. Just a couple drops will thicken up a batch for you.
I think if you say it fast, it comes out sounding like the thicks. Okay.
All right, so I'm just going to brush this on my pepakura paper. I've also just randomly used a piece of office paper that was floating around. No laziness. So it's going to soak in just a little bit more than if you would use something that was more pepakura grade.
Yeah, like construction paper.
All right. So, whoops, I should brush this way. I might also cut my bristles a little shorter if I were doing this for real.
I couldn't find any scissors.
So we're just going to brush it on.
Works pretty cool, huh? So that'll harden into
This shape.
that shape, yeah. And then you can put more coats on if I'm not mistaken.
You
right?
can, yeah, as long as it's in its already hardened state, which depending on the temperature, I think, takes generally about half an hour or so. So you could start over here, work to over here. You'd want to get the bottom. The other really cool thing you can do is you can use this first and then polyester resin over it in case you want to smell bad. The polyester resin tends to eat other stuff.
Like this.
Like that. So you can use the Aqua-Resin first and then this over it. So, foam.
Speaking of which, here, let me have a little fun with this. Actually, here, you have fun with this. Okay. I'll hold the cup, because I'm a swell guy.
Now, Aqua-Resin by itself is not very structural, so if Benji were making something foam that animals or people were going to walk over, we would put some fiberglass down first. Well, first we would put a wet layer, and then we put some fiberglass in there to strengthen it. In fact,
Like this.
like that. And that fiberglass will just give it a layer of strength.
And then you can wet it out again. And there you go.
If you are doing something that people are going to walk on, we recommend that you do tests.
And that you use lots of fiberglass.
Yeah. And probably not this particular fiberglass.
Anyway, this, by the way, it hadn't been all that long ago that I learned that a name for this stuff is GRG. Go figure that one. Glass reinforced glass or something like that. But it refers to the very fine, matty looking, veil-y looking stuff as opposed to 1.5 ounce or 3/4 ounce mat. So that's what this is. You see, you can kind of sort of see through it a little bit.
Don't get it too close to your face.
That's
Now do
just
beware that
fiberglass.
this is fiberglass. Don't like rub it all over yourself.
Unless you're a sicko.
It will itch like that pink fiberglass insulation stuff that makes people itch.
Okay. Now, the other thing you can do with this stuff is you can use it, pretend like it's fiberglass resin. So here's a mold. Nothing special, just rocks. Ooh. All I'm going to do here is just brush some in. I'm going to brush a layer of the resin in, and certainly we do not want to take the time to do the entire anything because, you know, you'll never get any lunch if you sit around watching us, unless you brush your lunch, in which case sit around and watch us. But anyway.
I just realized you can live chat.
Really?
So
Did
if
somebody
you have
live chat?
No, but if you have questions, you could live chat.
And you would make us very happy. You would especially make Sarah very happy. And of course, that's very important. All right, so anyway, you can thicken this one. Remember we held up the thick stuff. And so it acts a little bit more like a surface coat or a gel coat. But in this particular case, we're just going to blow right past that and go straight to throwing in
You know what
fiberglass.
we didn't do?
What did we not do?
We didn't put in a mold release.
Oh, yes, we did, but
we
you
did.
didn't see me put in a mold release. Aha, I was one step ahead of you. Okay, now, again, no smell. This stuff, I don't want to call it harmless because, you know, you want to get down to it, really nothing is harmless. But I do want to tell you that in the overall scheme of nasty, this isn't. Okay? So I'm taking a brush and I'm just tamping in this fiberglass, and then if I want, I can put in some more right over top of that. Okay?
We should probably be using gloves. You should use gloves if you use it.
Who, me?
Well, all of us.
It's too late for me. It's already happening.
What mold release did you use?
I grabbed a can of Universal mold release, which may or may not work, but that's what I used.
It does work.
Well,
You know
that's
what else
good
you
to
could have used? Separate.
Oh my.
It's Aqua-Resins.
Can I make a bad joke?
No.
Darn.
We-
I never get to have any
There
fun
might
around
be
here.
kids watching.
Good point. So I won't say lift and separate. Okay. So anyway, more glass. This stuff is nice because it lays down over just about any detail. That's the difference between it and more difficult to use fiberglass. If you put down the really super thin stuff like this, right? I think I'm going to walk over to the camera with this because I can. Excuse me. I won't be able to talk. But I can move my mouth. See that? Okay. See how nice that laid in there? Wrinkles and all. So that's what you get when you use a really thin one. So if you use that first, you get all your detail, and then after you get all your detail, then you can put in a heavier one, and that'll just basically strengthen it. So I'm just going to throw this last piece in here, just beat it down, so to speak, and away we go. Okay, so that's basically how this stuff works. It doesn't stink. It's really not any nasty chemicals at all. And it does a fine job. It's very much like FGR, okay, FGR 95, except that it's not, the components that we just used, we didn't go grab a bucket of water or anything like that, so it doesn't act like a traditional or a conventional plaster in that regard, but we think the output, the result of this, is much like what you'd get if you were using USG's FGR 95. So that's that.
Once that's cured, if you want a little stability so it's not hollow, you can pour a rigid foam inside. This is Foam at 5 by Smooth-On. It expands and it gives it just a little bit of stability so it's not hollow. You can hit someone with it and it won't break.
What won't break?
This.
Oh, that's different. Okay.
And we're going to do a life cast with the Aqua-Resin, and I'm going to do that through the week, and we'll show it to you on Wednesday.
Yep. Okay, let's see where we at. So anyway, that's where we are.
If you have questions, because you're watching it later and not live,
Yeah.
feel free to email us or post in the link below. Or call, sure. Nelson is bored, he wants to talk.
All the time.
And we'll be happy to help you out.
So anyway, we hope that helped. Next thing we're going to do, we're going to switch over to the other camera again because we can. And Benji is going to talk about Kryolan's, this stuff is called Aqua Color Plus. It's a cream makeup. And the reason why we're bringing it up now is because it's getting to be haunt season. And we know that a lot of you guys are working on a budget. And so this stuff will allow you to do a lot of stuff on a little money. So without any further ado, Benji.
So we're going to talk about Aqua Color Plus. This is activated with their special A+ activator. You just take a little bit of this and put it into the palette. These are pretty big pots of color, so you're going to get a lot out of it. They go pretty far. Just take the activator, you rub it into the color, and then you put it on a sponge or anything like that. And then you can base someone out with these colors, so especially for haunts, white, black, even reds are going to be pretty popular. So you just you can put this on. The great thing about the Aqua Color Plus is that it's waterproof and sweat proof, so it's going to last longer. It also doesn't really bleed into other colors. So if I take and I want to do some blue next to this red, I can put some blue next to it, and the colors aren't going to mix into each other. I can create a hard line, and that will not bleed into the other color, especially if you sweat or anything like that. So if you want to create a nice hard edge between colors, then you can without the worry of it sweating off. Other great things for haunts that are quick and easy are going to be the super color palettes or color wheels. Those are really effective. They're cream makeups. You've got the test or the wheels like this, which are like covering burn and bruise and death. So you have a lot of colors in there that are going to be useful for actors in different scenarios. All of these are going to be relatively inexpensive. The small pots of cream colors are only $8.50, so you're not looking at a big investment there. The larger colors of the Aqua Color Plus are $25, so you're also not looking at a huge investment there, especially for the amount of material that you're going to get, and this is going to last for a while. So that does it for the Aqua Color Plus and Super Color, and I think we're going to move on now.
So if you want to learn more about all of our Kryolan stuff, let me just remind you that you can come by this Saturday from 10 to 3 and this Sunday from noon to 5 for our Pro Zone grand opening. There's going to be people talking about stuff, all kinds of testers. Come by. I think there might be food, maybe?
There could be food.
We'll give you some water and a grape. I don't know.
Maybe 2 grapes. Okay.
Depending if you buy something.
Let's see.
But also this Saturday, there is a hands-on basic mold making class. It'll be here in this room. You can sign up for that.
Yep. And on the 19th, I'm going to do a tutorial on epoxy resin. The particular thing I'm going to work on the most with this is Smooth-On's Freeform. They've got 3 different versions of it, and I'm going to show you how to use that not only for sculpting, but also for mold making.
And on the 26th, I will be doing a Warbla, Wonderflex, and Friendly Plastic workshop here as well.
Are you going to talk about phosphate?
Yes, probably we'll talk about that as well.
But I forgot to put it on the sheet. Thank you.
Shame on
I
you.
know. Anything that's thermoactivated, we'll deal with it.
So make sure you get all those on your calendar.
Mm-hmm. And sign up online at www.theengineerguy.com.
But wait.
Oh my. Our very own Pro Zone of Kryolan's professional makeup. Let's see, what else? Yeah, we already said the hours. We don't have to do that again, but we're really excited about this. I mean, if you've been to this place, even 4 months ago, and you walk in the front door, it just looked like you were walking in. Now when you walk in the front door, it looks like you're walking into a cosmetic store. It even freaks me out, but it's really, really cool. And we're going to have folks from Kryolan here. What else? Yeah.
You just don't want to miss it.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. And there's going to be discounts, right?
Big discounts.
We're going to give people discounts, I hope.
That's correct. That's
Yes.
correct.
Also going to
Discounts.
have Cynthia from Cynthia Online doing some airbrushing demos with the new Nebula line from Kryolan.
The Nebula stuff is really cool. You
Yes,
don't want
it
to
is.
miss that.
Yeah.
I was playing with it earlier today.
Yeah, it's fun stuff. It works for a bunch of different things, and it might also be a good alternative for some haunt applications. And then also, of course, like I said, there's going to be people here who are going to teach you things that you didn't even know you needed to know. So, all that having been said, next week.
Next week, we are going to talk about Hot Wire Foam Factory, foam carving tools for EPS foam and a whole bunch of other foams. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to talk about foam carving and foam coating. So if you're coating foam, like we did with the Aqua-Resin, we'll talk about some other options, or gluing foam. So you don't want to miss that. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll try not to burn ourselves.
But we will anyway. And of course, we're going to talk about Benji's head.
The one he's making out of Aqua-Resin or just his head in general?
Never had any complaints.
Oh.
Okay, all right.
No, folks, thank you. Hopefully we'll see you this weekend at the grand opening, and hopefully you'll see us next Wednesday. Same bat time, same bat channel. See you later. Oh yeah, so we're going to stand here for a second. And then we're going to drop the sign. And then we're going to just walk away.